Come on. Traffic, 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 traffic. Good morning, this is Marcus, and today we're going to do a 1,166 kilometer challenge. That's right, I'm in a Model 3 rear wheel drive. Now this is the version from March 2023 and it's got the LFP batteries and it's got a 60 kilowatt hour battery. So we're going from a small town just south of Lisbon all the way to Madrid here. And that should be 583 kilometers more or less. Then we're going to come all the way back. We're going to see how quickly we can do this in a Tesla Model 3. And I think this car is so good. I think it's almost as good as a petrol car. And I believe if we're going to do this in a BMW Series 3 petrol car, it wouldn't be any different. Currently, it's 18 degrees Celsius. It's outside. We're in November. It should get colder as we get more inland. Now we're going to Madrid. The interesting thing about Madrid is that it's 657 meters above the sea level, and currently we must be 2 meters above the sea level because the sea is just behind us. So we're going to be going uphill all the way to get to Madrid. So Madrid is like half the height of Ben Nevis. So perhaps when I arrive there, I might need an oxygen tank or something. I don't know. Let's see. According to Tesla, we need 2 charging stops. So we need a charging stop in Merida, which is 261 kilometers away. It's saying we arrive at Merida with 17% and we need a 20-minute charging stop. Then it's saying we're going to arrive at the next destination, the next charger, Almarez, with 14% and we need a 25-minute charging stop. And then we should arrive in Madrid. We're going just to the outskirts of Madrid and we should arrive there with 11% according to this plan. One more thing for the rules on this trip. We will try to keep to all the speed limits because I don't want to get a fine, basically. It's exactly 5:30 and we're off. Madrid, here we come. So we're coming onto the motorway. I forgot to set the trip at the start of the journey. That was silly. I've just set the trip now. We've done 10 kilometers. So at the end, we'll have to add 10 kilometers to the trip to know the exact distance. If it is exactly 1,166 kilometers. If you are thinking about buying a Tesla, definitely buy a Tesla. They're absolutely amazing cars. Really, really good. Please use my Tesla referral code below. The main aim of today is to compare the Model 3 to a BMW Series 3. I want to call it Model 3, not Series 3. Anyway, we want to compare this to the 320i from BMW, the base model. And that's a petrol car and it does 6.6 litres per 100 kilometres at motorway speed, apparently. So what we want to do is we want to compare the cost of coming here in petrol and compare how long we think it will take in a BMW compared to this car. Because even though this is not the long-range Tesla Model 3, I think this is just so good for long journeys that it can be compared to a petrol car. The next thing is, I did this exact trip last year in the spring in my Volkswagen ID.3 first. Now that had a slightly bigger battery at 62 kilowatt hours, but it wasn't as efficient as this car because it's a hatchback, not a saloon. I wanted to start off in the ID.3 at 5:30 in the morning with a 100% charge, but because of the software bug, I only started with an 89% charge. And just let's see here, that's 88% now. So I've already done 41 kilometers at 88%. So that's where I started with the ID.3. So I'll leave the link below of the ID.3 first video doing this exact same trip. To be fair to the ID.3, the charging was a lot worse than it is today in Spain. Let's see if we can beat the ID.3. Oh, let's go. So the fog is cleared now and I nearly hit a fox. There was a fox in the middle of the road. I managed to swerve just in time and it managed to move to the right just in time. So I must have missed the fox by about, I don't know, some centimeters. So that was a lucky fox and lucky me because I don't want to be cleaning dead fox off my car. So currently it's 20 minutes past 6 o'clock. And we're coming up to the service station in Montmornov. This is where the ID.3 stopped to charge. Now it stopped to charge here at 6:22. So for some reason we're going a little bit quicker than the ID.3 did because we both started at 5:30. This has got 150 kilowatt charger that we used at this service station, and the ID.3 went from 58% to 80%. The consumption has been absolutely terrible. It's been 19.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers since the start. And we've done 92 kilometers. Normally, if this was a clear day in daylight without fog, we'd be getting 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. But now that's extremely high in this car. Hopefully when the sun comes up and the fog clears, we'd be getting better consumption. It's currently 6:42 and we're still in Portugal. The battery's at 55% and we've got 126 kilometers to go until the Merida supercharger. Now in the ID.3, I charged here at this service station. Now this is the RWD service station in Portugal, where they've got 350 kilowatt chargers, and in the ID.3 I charge from 68%, which is more than the 55% we've got here, to 80%. Why was that? Because I'd had such bad charging experience in Spain the week before. I charged extra here so that if I did get to Merida and I couldn't charge, because at the time there was only one RWD charger in Merida, and if I couldn't get there and charge, and if I couldn't get to Merida and charge, then I would abandon the test and come back. But yes, that slowed the ID.3 down as well. I've just hit a section with heavy fog. I've reduced the speed to 105 kilometers an hour because I just didn't think it was safe to drive at 120 kilometers an hour with this level of fog. Hopefully it clear quickly, I can get back up to 120 kilometers an hour again. And we're coming up to the Portuguese road toll. So in Portugal we have to pay a road toll, and in Spain we don't. So if I can see the road toll, I can actually see it's here somewhere. I follow the green lights. Hopefully in Spain there's no fog, but I've got my doubts. And currently it's 13 degrees Celsius outside, so it is cold outside. And I've got the air conditioning set to 21, and my consumption is terrible for Model 3 at the moment. But as to be expected, in a BMW Series 3, consumption will also be worse in this kind of weather. So we're just coming up to Spain, and it is 7:15, or in Spain 8:15. Now in the ID.3 we arrived here at 7:54, so that means currently we're 40 minutes quicker than the ID.3. Here we are, we're just coming into Spain. Whoa, Spain, here we come. To lower speed to 100, that's what we do. In the ID.3 we had a consumption at this point of 19.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. And in this car we've got 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so we're doing better in this Model 3. Now in a BMW Series 3 we'd be here at exactly the same time, 7:16, because we'd have done exactly the same speed, and we haven't stopped. So we're currently preheating the battery, and just to let you know, in Tesla you can check the superchargers. So currently there's 10 available, and it gives us the price. I think between this time it's 42 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're just about to come up to the Merida supercharger. We've done 256 kilometers so far, and our consumption is still quite high at 18.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. It's currently 8:46 in Spain, that would be 7:46 in Portugal. The first thing to note about this stop is that if I was in a BMW Series 3, I'd have to stop now because I do need the toilet, and they do have toilets at this Tesla. To let you know, the ID.3 stopped in the RWD charger here at 9:33 and charged from 32% to 90%. We're pulling off here, and the superchargers are just the other side of the road, and currently it's 8:52. So there's a little market over there, a petrol station, and there's a restaurant over there. So I'm going to go to the little market with the petrol station where they've got a toilet. So I plug straight in, it's saying starting to charge. It says 15 minutes remaining, so it's not 20 minutes, it's only 15 minutes. We're pulling 126 kilowatts now, it's ramping up. The batteries were heated. We're not getting 150, that's a bit disappointing. That's fine. I don't have much time. 15 minutes sounds like a lot, but it's not. I'm going to go to the toilet. We added 31.25 kilowatt hours, and that cost us €13.13. I just realised I forgot to record that. So what happened was I got back into the car, and just as I got back into the car, it said you've got enough charge to reach your destination. Now it's 10 minutes past 9. And I said, well, I thought I was going to have to wait 5 minutes here, but if I was in the BMW Series 3, that's exactly what I would have done. I went to that shop, I got a cold drink, I went to the toilet, came back to the car, opened my thermos flask, had a hot cup of tea. In a BMW Series 3, that's exactly what I'd have done. I'd have left then, because I felt not overly rushed, but I did feel that I could have spent a little bit more time there. Now, if I'd have gone to the restaurant with my family and I had breakfast, because I don't have breakfast, we'd have taken at least 30 minutes. So now Madrid is 350 kilometers away, and in the summer, if I'd charged there to 100%, I could probably do it all the way to Madrid. But we are going uphill. But definitely today, with this cold weather, 14 degrees Celsius, you can feel the vapor in the air, the fog in the air. Even though it doesn't look foggy, you can feel the dampness in the air. It's not going to be possible today. In the ID.3, I charged the Ionity to 90% because the charging network from here to Madrid at the time was very bad. It's a bit better now. And I was worried about charging, and we left at 10:17. So we left here at 9:10. We left there at 10:17. So we're 1 hour and 5 minutes ahead of the ID.3 at the moment. Finally, it's happening. We've got some sun. The sun's just come out, and I was getting so bored with the fog and the mist and the slight damp rain coming. Now, people are going to tell me with BMW Series 3s that whenever they get a coffee from a coffee place, it only takes them 5 minutes. That's what people always say. I'm going to stop here for 5 minutes for a coffee. It only takes me 5 minutes. But when people time it, it actually takes you a lot longer than 5 minutes. I mean, I was being quite quick there, and it took at least 15 minutes, I think. So this next stop, BMW Series 3 drivers could say, well, this is just not necessary. And perhaps it's not. Probably you could do Merida to Madrid in one go at around 350 kilometers. You could probably do that in one go. Obviously, you're going to get some petrol heads who are going to say they can do Lisbon to Madrid without stopping. Perhaps 1% of idiots can do that, but let's not be stupid. It's 583 kilometers. You're going to want to stop for 30 minutes for breakfast or for coffee or something off the toilet. Now, actually, because since the last stop I've drank over half a litre of water and a cup of tea, I will actually need the toilet, even though it hasn't been so long since the last charge. So I will actually need the toilet. So we're just coming off to the supercharger now in Almaraz, and the battery currently is at 22%. Now the consumption since the last charge hasn't been that good. Better than before, 17.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We've had fog, we've had a little bit of rain, it's been cold. At one point it got down to 13 degrees Celsius, but now it's 16 degrees Celsius. Now, I've never been to this supercharger here, and it looks like it's very close to the motorway, so that's good. So we'll turn off now and see exactly where it is, and see if we can get the 150 kilowatts. Yeah, and it's 10:24, so that means we've been in the car for 3 hours and 54 minutes, and we've done 401 kilometers. So that's pretty good going, isn't it? The car's amazing, absolutely amazing. I love it. And surprise, surprise, it looks like they're all available. Ah, there's a nuclear power station in front of us, I think. So we're getting nuclear energy, no doubt. Portugal 2 restaurant. So you can perhaps get good Portuguese food there. Who knows? So we've got a car wash. Yes, car wash for the win. Got a petrol station with a little shop. And I see chargers. And these ones have actually got a cover, because the other ones, they removed the cover. Yeah, a service station. So I think I'm going there. I fancy... Oh, there's chargers there. Sunder. I absolutely love Sunder. Wow. And they've got... That's a really nice setup. I don't know if it's online yet. But we're definitely going to have a look at that. So let's see how these superchargers work. Really easy. The car's connected to my credit card. Okay, all I do, open the flap by pressing it. Get this charger here, get this one here. Plug it in, and that's it. But let's just have a quick look at this Sunder. These Sunder are probably quicker chargers than these superchargers here. How many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, not online yet, but when they come online, it's going to be absolutely fantastic, because this is just like the Tesla auto charge. You just plug it in and go. So let's see what charging speed we've got. I see that there. We've got 142 charging speed. That's perfect. What time is it? 10:28. I forgot. Probably arrived at 10:26, 10:27. I forgot to mention that. To know how long it says. It says just 15 minutes to continue route. I thought it was meant to be 25 minutes to continue route. Perhaps we're going to be as good as a BMW Series 3 with sensible drivers. I'm going to go and go to the toilet because I really need it. And yeah, I'll be back in a minute. I basically went in there, went to the toilet, had half a cup of tea, and it's not so hot now. And I come back to the car, and we've got 5 minutes remaining. So in those 5 minutes, I want to talk about the BMW Series 3. Why am I comparing this to a BMW Series 3? Now, everybody complains that electric vehicles are expensive, and they are. There's still not that many cheap electric vehicles on the market. I mean, good ones. I'm not talking about an AMI, but a good electric vehicle. Now, I think the best ones, the cheapest ones, are probably the MG4. And now Citroen's bringing out a new one, which I can't remember the name of, but apparently the new one from Citroen is going to be under 25,000 euros. Apparently it's got good charging speed and good range. This one seems good, and the MG4 is obviously good. Now, I could compare this car to a Dacia, and people could say, well, you can get a Sandero or Dacia for less than 10,000 euros. Yeah, that's true. But I don't think you can really compare a Tesla Model 3 to a Dacia, because probably a Dacia could do the whole trip from Lisbon to Madrid without stopping. Might need to fuel once, probably wouldn't even need to fuel once. And it, you know, and people say, oh, well, that's a better car. And if you gave somebody a choice, would you rather do Lisbon to Madrid in a Dacia Sandero, or would you rather do it in a Tesla Model 3? I bet 95% of people would say they'd rather do it in a Tesla Model 3, especially as we see how easy charging is. Now, the car for me that most matches the Tesla Model 3 is the BMW 3 Series. Why is it? Because the Tesla Model 3 is quite an aspirational car, like the BMW 3 used to be. The BMW 3 is a mass-produced car, like the Model 3. And, you know, people who would get into middle management, or salespeople, or electricians, or plumbers who did well, they'd get to BMW 3 in the past. And those kind of people who got to BMW Series 3 in the past are now the kind of people who are getting a Tesla Model 3. And they're both the same cars, they're both saloon cars. And then let's come on to price to see what is cheaper, a BMW or a Model 3. So my Model 3 currently costs, not my one, but the Highland one, which is a bit better, a little bit better range and slightly newer, but mostly similar, is currently 39,990 euros in Portugal. The cheapest BMW 3 Series 320i petrol is currently a massive 47,400 euros. Now, if you check, now basically, this base model Tesla that we're sat in basically comes with everything. Panoramic roof, an amazing infotainment system. It comes with everything. There's almost nothing you don't need. The car just comes with everything. If you get a BMW Series 3, the base model, it comes with almost nothing. It just comes with cruise control. It doesn't seem to come with autopilot, where it keeps you in the lane on the motorway. And the only thing I would say that is better on it, perhaps, is you get a dashboard behind the steering wheel. So you get instruments behind the steering wheel. But I bet their entertainment system doesn't come with Netflix. I bet it doesn't come with games. I bet it's nowhere near as good as the entertainment system in the Tesla. You may say, well, you need it in the Tesla because you stop and charge, and you may want to watch a video or whatever. So the BMW, 7.4 seconds, 0 to 100. Now this car here, 0 to 100 is 6.1 seconds. And we have to remember the BMW is about 8,000 euros more expensive. Now, if you want a better car than this one, you could always get the Model 3 long range, which is currently 48,990 euros. That comes with all-wheel drive. The BMW is not all-wheel drive, so it's about 2,000 euros more expensive than the base model BMW, and that does 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds, just absolutely killing the BMW. Top speed, this is where the BMW wins.
Now turn left.
So it's saying I've got enough charge now to continue. We've charged to 70% and it says we're going to get there with 12%. I don't want to get there with 12%. We're still pulling 78 kilowatts. I want to get there with 20%. So we'll wait a couple of minutes longer. Now, some people may argue that the quality of the BMW is a bit better than the quality of the Tesla. There may be arguments around this. Some people call the BMW luxury car, and this is not a luxury car, but I think this Tesla is pretty luxurious. Seats extremely comfortable. The seats look very similar in this car to the BMW, what I could see on the internet. And so I actually think that electric cars in some ways are cheaper compared to the equivalent petrol car.
Added 36.68 kilowatt hours, and this cost us €15.41.
It's 183 kilometers away, and currently it's 10:49, so we stayed a bit longer than we needed to. Yeah, did I mention that shop? That had a restaurant, cafe, shop. It had arcade machines. It had people playing on slot machines. It had those things you can put kids on, like little helicopters that go up and down. It was really busy, full of families actually. This is the thing with Spain, the service stations, they look so bad from the outside, but on the inside, they're really very good, and the toilet's big, extremely clean, and the food there seemed good. I think BMW drivers would be happy staying there. So this next service station stop was the 4th stop in the ID.3. This one at the time only had two 50 kilowatt linear chargers. Now apparently they've still got the 50 kilowatt chargers, but they've got a 300 kilowatt linear charger and a 150 kilowatt linear charger. If I'd have had that when I'd have done my ID.3 test last year, it would have gone so much quicker. But the ID.3, just to let you know, arrived here with 31%. And it left with 90%, and also it arrived here at 11:40, and currently it's 10:55. Okay then, so currently it's 11:30 in Spain and 10:30 in Portugal. We have done 482 kilometers. Unbelievable, 482 kilometers in 5 hours. It's going really well, even in this bad weather. So since the last charge, we've done 79 kilometers, and the consumption's not been good again. It's cold, it's 14 degrees Celsius. The consumption has been 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. We're only 58 kilometers away from our destination now, or 31 minutes. Now let me tell you about the destination. So I'm going to go to exactly the same destination point I went to in the ID.3, and that's a 50 kilowatt charger. And yes, I know 50 kilowatt chargers are very slow. One idea I had was to go to a Tesla charger. Now the Tesla charger is 7 kilometers further away than this 50 kilowatt charger. Sure, you'll say, Marcus, well, why don't you do that? The problem with the Tesla charger, it's in the middle of nowhere. There's no restaurants, there's no nothing. I will probably need to charge the car for 20 minutes in the Tesla charger. That's 7 kilometers away, further away, means 7 kilometers there, 14 kilometers back. I think in Madrid, that equates to an extra 10 minutes there and back. So then we're looking at 30 minutes to charge the car and to go back. But there's nothing for me to eat in the Tesla location, absolutely nothing. And I need a rest. I've been driving for, I don't know, probably by the time we get there, over 6 hours, and I want some hot food. And there's a nice Kentucky Fried Chicken near this 50 kilowatt charger. It's the Iberdrola charger, and I can sit there and have food. Now I've calculated in this car, we're probably going to need to charge there for at least 45 minutes. In the ID.3 we charged there for 52 minutes. When we go back to Lisbon, it's up to you if you decide to take 10 or 20 minutes off, accounting for that Tesla charger, but I think there's very few people who would not want a hot meal now. What's the problem with this 50 kilowatt charger? The problem is, there's only one of them, and it could be full. And it's at the McDonald's, which is next door to the Kentucky Fried Chicken. If this charge is full, there's another McDonald's a bit further on we can go to. There's another 50 kilowatt charger. But I did look around the area to see if there was anything good around the area now. We're more than a year from last time I came. If there's any like restaurants or with fast chargers, and there's nothing. Whoa! Can you see that? The Madrid sign. Welcome to Madrid. It is exactly 14 minutes past 12 o'clock. That means it has taken us 5 hours and 44 minutes. That's under 6 hours. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I think most people in a petrol car would not do it quicker than that. The ID.3 did it in 7 hours and 14 minutes. And this was 5 hours and 44 minutes. It's just unbelievable. Now obviously when we did it in the ID.3 we didn't have a reliable charging network, and now the charging network would be better for the ID.3, so we could do it quicker. But the ID.3 would not beat this car even with a better charging network. So what this proves to me is that this car, in my opinion, is as good as any petrol car. Now there may be some petrol heads here who say they can do all of Lisbon to Madrid quicker than that without stopping or only taking their 5-minute coffee break. Most people won't do that. 95% of people, if they left at 5:30 in the morning, will have half an hour breakfast on the way here. Can we get to Kentucky Fried Chicken, or I should say McDonald's, before the 6 hour mark? I think we can. Unbelievable. I have done this trip before with my family in a diesel car and a petrol car, and I can tell you it's normally around 6 hours is what you're looking for, Lisbon to Madrid. Perhaps if I'd had the Tesla long range, I could have done it a bit quicker. Perhaps if the weather was a bit better, we could have done it a bit different. But I didn't really stay longer than I needed to at both of those charging stops. I went to the toilet, I needed to both times. I had a tea, I needed to both times. Perhaps in all, I spent 5-10 minutes max longer than what I would have in a petrol car. But then again, I didn't eat breakfast today, did I? So I think this rear-wheel drive LFP battery Tesla Model 3 is as good as any petrol car for long trips. It's just off the motorway. You can see more traffic as we get closer to the centre of Madrid. Yeah, I didn't go to the centre of Madrid because it's just going to be traffic, there's no point. You see, I just come off just before we get the traffic jams. It's a perfect location. Hopefully the charger's available and working. Apparently it is, but we will see. So it's currently 12:24. Can we get to the charger before 12:30 or 11:30 in Portugal to beat the 6-hour part? Now, in theory, yes, but with the traffic jam, I don't know. Come on. Traffic. We're going to KFC, can't find the chicken. I can see KFC. It's not a KFC, it's the next one, McDonald's. Now, McDonald's is this one here, and there doesn't seem to be anyone charging. That seems good, but it seems shut. There's no one here. But it's 12:26, surely it must be open. Must be open. Oh, that car's a bloody electric Nero, is it? Well, if it is, yeah, but it's not going to the charger. Great. Here we go then. Got the chargers, no one here. It's 12:26, no one eats at 12:26. 12:26 in Portugal, it'd be quite busy McDonald's by now. But someone eats later in Madrid. So it's exactly 12:26, so that means we have done this in 5 hours and 56 minutes, under 6 hours, absolutely amazing. But we're still going to go back to Lisbon, this is still a race, but I'm going to eat over there. So I should have recorded that, but I didn't, but it's a faff. You see, it's 12:30 now, so I plugged in. I had to use their app, which takes a little bit of time to come up. I used the Iberdrola app. I tried the first time and it says problem with payment, so I thought, oh no, the payment's not going to work. So I clicked retry and it worked, and I plugged in and it's working. So it took me about 3 or 4 minutes just to plug in here. Obviously in a Tesla charger it's just quicker. You just plug in. Even a Sunder charger, it's quicker, you just plug in. Miio, quicker, you just plug in. But this one here, you don't do that. It said there we're pulling 48 kilowatts, but here it's saying we're pulling 44 kilowatts. This is going to take 1 hour 5 minutes to 100%. We're not going to 100%. I'm not sure where we're going to at the moment, but I'm going to go over there to Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I've just got back in the car. I was the first customer, so I got served quite quickly. I've been there 37 minutes. Let's just check the trip information. So we've done 587 kilometers since Lisbon, and our average has been 17.6 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we used 102 kilowatt hours. Now this battery is 60 kilowatt hours, so we definitely have to charge to get here. Now we're at 69%, very slow, 50 kilowatt charger obviously. So let's go home and let's see what it recommends. It's saying we have to go to this one here, the last one we went to, supercharge. We have to charge for 15 minutes, and in Merida we have to charge for 45 minutes. We get there with 25%, so I'm stopping the charge now. 25% is more than enough.
Here we added 28.61 kilowatt hours, and that cost us €14.12.
So it's a bit warmer now. The sun is out here and we're leaving at 1:09. So basically I think we've spent 42 minutes here, something like that. So I don't feel I stayed there longer than I should have. In fact, I could have stayed there a little bit longer, to be honest. Just to let you know, at that charger was 45 cents per kilowatt hour. Now the Tesla charger's 42 cents per kilowatt hour. So the difference in price is hardly nothing. So far, this is going better than I expected, apart from all the fog. Hopefully, all the fog is cleared on the way back, so we can get a nice, clear run. So at 1:44 was the time the ID.3 arrived, and we're at 1:13. The ID.3 still hasn't arrived. I'm lost. It's down here, I think. That's right. Yeah, Portugal, that's where we want to go, Portugal. I just got a bit lost there. We're 4 kilometers away, and coming in the direction we just came in, there's huge traffic jams. So we missed the traffic jam by like 30 minutes. So that was pretty good going, I would say. So we're still in Madrid, And what's funny is that it's hard to do 120 kilometers an hour along here at the moment. We're only doing 100 because there's so many cars. It seems that everybody was in their house when it was foggy. As soon as the sun's come out, everyone's come out in their cars. That's what it seems. It's been an hour since the last charge. Now it's 10 minutes past 2. I think we left it 10 minutes past 1, didn't we? Or was it 9 minutes past 1? I don't remember. Anyway, it was something like that. So it's been an hour. We've done 111 kilometers since the last charge, and as I expected, our consumption is much better now. It is 13.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's why when you do these challenges, it's always good to go one way, Lisbon to Madrid, and back the other way, Madrid to Lisbon. Otherwise, you'll get the wrong impression. We've got wind behind us. We're probably going downhill from Madrid, and yeah, it's going really well. What I wonder is, can we get back to Lisbon before sunset? Is that even possible? I don't know. Let's try, shall we? And we're going to arrive at the charger with 26%, which is much more than what we needed. So we did charge too long in Kentucky Fried Chicken, but then I needed to eat. So we're back at the Wenia chargers where we stopped with the ID.3, and at this time in the trip, it was 18 minutes past 4 o'clock in the ID.3 when it stopped here, and currently it's only 34 minutes past 2 o'clock. So we are, I don't know, 1 hour 40, 1 hour 50 minutes ahead of the ID.3, and I don't think we're very far behind the BMW Series 3, are we? Let's be honest. Perhaps 5 minutes ahead, is he? 10 at most. 10 at most. And the temperature now is 19 degrees, and we're doing a very good 120 kilometers an hour because there's hardly any traffic, which is just great. We're just coming up to the Tesla supercharger in Almaraz. Now the question is, will there be another EV charging there? Today they've all been empty. The battery's been preconditioning. Let's see if we get 150 kilowatts this time or not. Now it says I need to charge here for around 10 minutes. I might actually charge a bit longer actually. Probably the BMW, he's there now, filling his car with petrol, no doubt. Oh, there's a Mercedes charging. There's a Tesla charging, so this can be used by anyone. There's 2 Teslas charging. I have to make sure I don't go close next to one, otherwise I'll only get 75 kilowatts. So if I go to the one at the end, we should be okay. 248. And next to a nuclear power station, for God's sake, we should get like 1 billion kilowatts really. And we've done 185 kilometers since the last charge. So I'm going to plug in and I'm going to have a cup of tea. But before I get a cup of tea, let's just check the charging speed. Currently 5 kilowatts, 9 kilowatts, 13 kilowatts, 24 kilowatts. Come on, ramp up 44 kilowatts. Let's get 150 this time. We're at 24%. See, there we're at 14 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. 133, come on, let's at least 140. 140, we've got 140. Going up. No, it's staying 140. We're not getting 150 today, are we? It's just not having it, is it? But 140, you can't really complain, can you? Again, 42 cents per kilowatt hour here. It says I've got 10 minutes until the remaining trip, so I should leave at 3 o'clock. Okay, I just went to the shop, went to the toilet, had to have a cup of tea, and it's saying we've got enough to continue. 10 minutes, we've been 12 minutes. Saying we're going to get to Merida with 26%. I guess we might as well get going. This Tesla next to us there is a Highland. That's the first Highland I've ever seen. 66%. See how quick that was? 13 minutes, I think. We're leaving. 3:04.
We added 27.29 kilowatt hours, and it cost us €11.46.
So, oh yeah, this restaurant here, it being 3 o'clock in Spain, this restaurant was full. And the portions are ginormous. I mean, they're really huge. There were people having like steak, egg and chips with a bit of salad. The plates were ginormous. People having big sandwiches. I don't know why Spanish sandwiches are always so big. They're huge. And then there was people having like chicken and chips. Then somebody was having like a nice big stew. The pizzas look really delicious as well. And I bet it's not very expensive in there. If you are hungry and you want a bit more Spanish food than Kentucky Fried Chicken, that probably is a place to eat. But it's actually called Restaurant Portugal. Perhaps that's why the portions are so big. I don't know. But it's definitely popular. It was full of people having lunch in there. We're going back on the motorway and we're going to Merida. We've done 100 kilometers since the supercharger in Almaraz, and we're only 35 kilometers away from the Merida supercharger. We have done 876 kilometers since the start, and this bit we've been going great guns. It's 23 Celsius outside. The closer we get to Portugal, the warmer it gets, it seems, and we're doing very good economy at 15.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers since the last charger. It's telling us we need to charge for 40 minutes at Merida to make it all the way back to Lisbon, with 18% when we get to Lisbon. Now for me, 40 minutes does seem a bit too long. This is where the Series 3 BMW is probably going to win it. But why is that? It is because we stopped at KFC in Merida. It was only a 50 kilowatt charger. If it had been 100 or 150 kilowatt charger at KFC, or McDonald's actually where it was, we'd have probably have got to 100% charge in the same time period. If we'd have had 100% charge, I'm pretty sure we'd have done 10 minutes at Almaraz and probably 20-25 minutes here, but now it's telling us we need to do 40 minutes. I ate 3 hours ago. I'm not really hungry, so I'm not going to eat here, so I can't really take 40 minutes as like a dinner break or lunch break. 40 minutes is fine if it's dinner or lunch break, but not for this kind of break where all you want's a quick drink, to go to the toilet and leave. 20 minutes is fine, 40 is too long. We're just coming up to Merida, and this is the turn-in if we wanted to go to Ionity. We don't want to go to Ionity, but just to let you know, the ID.3 arrived at Ionity on the way back at 12 minutes past 6 o'clock. And currently it's 16 minutes past 4 o'clock. So we're basically almost 2 hours ahead now of the ID.3. Here we are, turning off for the second time today to the Merida supercharger. We're currently at 30%, so yeah, we've done 14.7 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. It's the last charger. How many Teslas are charging there? Oh, there's lots of spare ones, as normal. That's the Model Y, I think. So yeah, it's exactly 20 minutes past 4 o'clock. If we stay here 40 minutes, we'll leave at 5 o'clock, but we'll see what it says and see what charging speed we get. That's important. So then I've just plugged in, starting to charge, 30%, let's see. Oh, 25 minutes remaining to continue trip. Is it doing something else? That's more like it, 25 minutes. 25 minutes to get home. Oh, that's more like it. That is definitely more like it. That's more like it, but it's 262 kilometers to Lisbon. Now let's see. Oh, we're getting 140. We're not getting 150 today though, are we? But we're quite a high charge, 31%. I'm going to wash the window. I'm going to go to the toilet again, perhaps get a drink, and see if we can do this in 25 minutes. 25 minutes. We should be leaving here about 4:45, 4:50 perhaps. Yeah, that's more reasonable, isn't it? So I've just got back in the car. I went over to the restaurant over there. I had a tea because the tea in my thermos flask is now lukewarm. Replied to a couple of tweets that I've been tweeting along the journey. How long was I there? 26 minutes? Wasn't it 4:20 we arrived, or 4:10? I can't remember. It's been a long day. Anyway, it's saying we're going to arrive home with 22%. It's currently at 89%. So it's been extremely quick. Now it's throttling at 46%. So we're going to go home now.
We added 37.80 kilowatt hours, and that cost us a massive €15.87.
So 4:48 we're leaving. Will we get to Portugal before sunset? But to the right of us now, you probably can't see that, but there's a Decathlon. If I go around here, you might see it. And yeah, there it is, Decathlon. And I do actually need something from Decathlon, so if the stop was 45 minutes, I'd have gone and purchased something from Decathlon. But as it was, yeah, it wasn't really long enough. Again, I didn't feel the charging stop was too long. I thought it was just perfect actually. And now I should have enough energy to get me all the way back to Lisbon. So again, the toilet's there, very clean, very good in the restaurant. Just to mention the price of the tea, so you see how cheap these places are. The tea was €1.20. It come in a proper ceramic cup and saucer, and a little bit of milk and sugar. €1.20. You can't go wrong, really, can you? So it's not like these rip-off service stations you get. No, it's prices here are spot on. We're just coming to Portugal. It's 5:25 in Spain and 4:25 in Portugal. Yeah, we're back home again. And just to let you know, the ID.3 passed here on Portuguese time at 6:37. So currently it's 4:25 versus 6:37. Basically, we're over 2 hours 10 minutes currently. Yeah, 2 hours 10 minutes. 2 hours and it's hard to drive and do maths in my head, but more than 2 hours in front of the ID.3 currently. Let's see, 68 kilometers since the last charge. we're using a very good efficiency, 14.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's really, really good. When the ID.3 came into Portugal, it was using 18.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Overall, the whole trip, we've been using 16.3 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers versus the 18.4 of the ID.3. Obviously, the weather in the ID.3, it was much warmer. And this car is more efficient. I'd say that's normal for motorway. The ID.3 was always around 18 and this one is always around 16, so there's about a 2 kilowatt hour difference per 100 kilometers in these cars. As for the BMW Series 3, I think it might be 5-10 minutes ahead of us, that's all. But then it's much cheaper to drive electric than petrol. So we're just entering toll road Hal of Portugal, and this is the first toll road, and 1 kilometer after this toll road we'll have done 1,000 kilometers since this morning. Let's see, 999, let's see, 1,000 kilometers exactly, amazing. And it's 4:36. That means since this morning it's taken us 11 hours and 6 minutes to do 1,000 kilometers. Now that's not bad at all when we consider we spent time having lunch at a 50 kilowatt charger. That is really reasonable. Now some of you may be saying, well, Bjorn Nilon, he can do these 1,000 kilometer tests quicker. Yes, to start with, he's not using 50 kilowatt chargers, and then he's having routes in Norway where you get rapid chargers absolutely everywhere, and he chooses the route so that it's optimal for the charging speed. Whereas here we've been more restricted on this route where we can charge, and so the fact that we've been more restricted on where we can charge and we haven't always charged at places where it's been optimal, and because we stopped for lunch, I think this is a very, very reasonable score. So we're coming up to the Ionity chargers here again in Portugal, and this is where the ID.3 stopped to charge. It charged from 32% to 58%, and it arrived here at 7:07. Currently it is 4:54. There we go, it's 5:07. Can you see the sun? I can hardly see the road. The sun's right in my eyes because we're driving west. It's always a bad time to drive west at sunset. It's 5:25, and as you can see, the sun has gone down behind those mountains over there. We've got 76 kilometers before we get back to the starting position. We've done 15.1 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers since the last charger, and we've done 1,098 kilometers. So I'm really going to have to stop here for the toilet. It should be quick. Just to let you know, they've got chargers here, 100 kilowatt chargers, and I did stop here in the ID.3 at 7:56. 5:41. We've got 45 kilometers before we get home. Oh, that's good, there's not many people here, and this is the first time we're going to stop today and not charge. 4 minutes, we have to go now, but there's somebody behind us. As you can see, let them pull out. And I put my jumper on because it's starting to get cold. Even if it's 20 degrees outside, it does feel cold in the car. It's still saying we get there with 20%. We currently got 31% and 44 kilometers left. So 8 kilometers of this 44 kilometers are going to be normal roads, and the rest is motorway. We've had mainly motorway today. So 3 minutes past 6, and we're just about to get off the motorway now. And we've done 1,164 kilometers. We've got 8 kilometers of normal road, which will take a little bit of time because they're paying. How much do we have to pay? This is from the Portuguese part of the journey. €17.05. If you're enjoying this epic journey, please remember to click subscribe. If you are thinking of buying a Tesla, and you definitely should think about it or get one, please use my Tesla referral code. It's down below. I would love to know your comments, what you think about the comparison with the BMW 3 Series, and if you think this car here is as good as a petrol car. I'd love to hear that. So put your comments below and I will try to respond to each one. We're just coming up to the start position now. Since the charger in Merida, we've done 262 kilometers, and that average has been 14.8 kilowatt hours per 100. 6:14, let's call it 6:14, shall we? This car's absolutely amazing. We've arrived with 20% So unbelievable. Let's do it. So since Madrid, I think we left Madrid at 1:10 Spanish time, so that was 12:10 Portuguese time. So basically it took us 6 hours and 4 minutes to get from Madrid to here. It took longer than when we went to Madrid, but obviously in Madrid we didn't start with 100%, so obviously it's taken us a little bit longer, even if the weather has been better. And I had a toilet stop which wasn't necessary. If I didn't have had that toilet stop, which was 5 minutes, I think we'd be 5 hours and 59 minutes. So unbelievable. So still within the 6 hours. What is even more interesting, we arrive at 6:14 and the ID.3 only passes the border in Portugal at 6:37. So ID.3 now is still in Spain. Unbelievable. So how long did this take us? It took the ID.3 15 hours and 2 minutes, and it has taken us 12 hours and 44 minutes to do 1,174 kilometers. That's just amazing. This car is unbelievable. Just charges perfectly, no problems whatsoever. And I don't think you could do much better in a petrol car. Honestly, I don't. You might be able to knock off 10, 20 minutes, but that'd be about it. Because you have to stop, and all the charging stops were relatively quick, apart from the lunch stop in KFC. And I had to have that lunch stop in KFC. Anybody who's going to be driving for 12 hours is obviously going to need a 40-minute lunch stop, aren't they? So absolutely unbelievable. This car's phenomenal. And another thing that's phenomenal, look at this. 16 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers for the whole trip. Unbelievable. And this is November, the winter. I mean, it's not that bad the weather, is it? But I mean, it was like 13 degrees earlier. This car's unbeatable. And if you get the Highland one, like we saw today, that's meant to be 5% to 8% even more efficient. Shockingly good, this car.
Let's just compare the price of the Model 3 to the BMW Series 3. So we did 1,174 kilometers. At home, I pay 22 cents per kilowatt hour, and that cost me €10.56. On all the public charging we did today, that cost me €69.99, and that's a total of €80.55. Let's compare this to the BMW. So the average price of petrol in Portugal on this day was €1.85 per litre. The economy of the BMW apparently is 6.6 litres per 100 kilometres. So that gives you a massive price of €143.35. So that is €62.79 more expensive than the Model 3. Now, to top this off, I didn't actually pay €10.56 for home charging because I actually charge on solar, so I paid a lot less. Also, I didn't pay €69.99 on charging today because today all the superchargers for me were free. So it was actually a lot cheaper than €80.55.
So thank you again for watching. Please leave your comments below and bye.